Having covered the essentials of techno-economic analysis, let's now dive into the practical application, particularly in the green engineering. How exactly do we use this concept in the real-world projects? Here, we are going to look at this through the example of a learning curve. This will help us understand how experience and efficiency improvement play crucial roles in reducing cost and enhancing the project outcomes in sustainable engineering. The powerful aspect of a learning curve is daily incremental improvement. Imagine improving just 1% every day. By year's end, you will improve not just 365%, but by nearly 38 times due to the compounding effect. This graph illustrates the dramatic rise from small daily gains. It highlights how consistent minor improvement can lead to exponential growth over time. So remember, each small step today is a significant leap over a year. Are you curious about what the learning curve is? Let's turn to ChatGPT for the explanation. As shown in this slide, ChatGPT provides a comprehensive overview. Essentially, learning curve illustrates how repeated experience with a task leads to the greater efficiency and the cost effectiveness over time. As we see in this graph, the curve slopes downwards, highlighting how tasks become less resource-intensive as experience grows. This is crucial in business and the manufacturing process, where understanding the rate of improvement can significantly impact the strategic planning and the pricing strategies. By utilizing the power of a learning curve, organizations can enhance their productivity and the competitive advantage. For example, manufacturing. As the output increases, the assembly times and the cost will decrease. Another example is the personal skill acquisition. With more practice, you will complete a task like coding faster and more efficient. Let's now break down the formula and the components. We use the equation shown here to calculate the cost CT at any production quantity QT, and the C0 represents the initial cost when production begins, and the Q0 is the initial production quantity. The exponent B is the learning rate coefficient, which quantifies how quickly costs decrease as the production experience increases. This is the important factor because it directly influences how steeply our cost will drop over time. And by taking the natural logarithm of both sides, we transform the equation to ln CT equal ln C0 plus the B ln QT over Q0. This linear form is easier to analyze and use for the following predictive modeling. Moreover, two commonly seen terms related to the learning curve are first, progress ratio, PR, which is defined as the ratio of the final cost to the initial cost when cumulative output doubles. The PR gives us insights into how efficiently production costs are managed as the production scales up. A lower PR indicates the steeper decline in cost with the increased production. The second is the learning rate, which represents the percentage reduction in cost each time the cumulative outcomes doubles. For example, the learning rate of 20% means that the cost decreases by 20% each time production doubles. This metric is important for assessing the speed at which efficiency are gained and the costs are reduced in manufacturing and the technology deployment. Now, let's examine some prevalent renewable energy technologies and their global weighted average levelized cost of electricity, or called LCOE. Some findings can be observed here. The first, for solar PV and onshore wind, have seen consistently decreasing cost, making them highly predictable in economic performance. It should be noted that the wind power, especially for offshore wind power, the costs are influenced by the availability of the wind resources and the advancement in turbine technology. Next is hydropower, which is the well-established technology with generally low LCOE, particularly for large-scale dam projects. And the next one is the biomass energy, which encompasses both biomass power and the biofuels. Varies in LCOE depending on the biomass resource and the technology employed. From the conventional single-fact learning curve model, we see that the learning rate is 34% for general solar PV technology and 20% for concentrated solar power or CSP. And for onshore wind, the learning rate is about 20%, while offshore wind is lower at 9%. We should note that these learning rates vary significantly across the different studies, which indicate a high level of uncertainty in these estimations. Even that, the application of simple one-factor or one-stage learning rate remains a crucial tool. It offers policymakers and investors valuable insights into the cost advantage of different renewable energy technologies. The LCOE represents the average cost per megawatt hour necessary for the power plant to break even over its operational life. This calculation includes all the capital and operational cost, divided by the total electricity generation, adjusted for the time value of money. By comparing the LCOE of different generation technology, investors and policymakers can determine which technology offers the best financial returns relative to the market price. It essentially tells us which plant is more profitable when selling electricity at the same market price and operational lifespan. We will delve deeper into this calculation in Units 2, 3, and 4, examining what the time value of money is and how these equations are calculated. Are there any issues of learning curve model? Yes. Let's take a look at these two figures. One is onshore wind LCOE and the other one is solar PV LCOE. Both are historical trends. And we see that both have increased for the first time in the history in 2023. So are we forgetting? No. While the learning curve can predict decreasing costs with increased production and experience, it is crucial to understand that price can still fluctuate due to the external factors, including material prices, energy prices, supply constraints, or like OEM labor cost, and so on. Therefore, in the future, we certainly expect the price will keep going up and down, even though the overall trend will more likely to go down. For example, this slide shows how geopolitical elements like the EU-China, US-China solar PV trade war impact the market prices. Despite the technological advancement lowering the production cost, tariffs and international disputes can lead to the unpredictable price change. Similar dynamics play out in the EV battery market, where material cost could influence the EV selling price. Costs of the key battery components like lithium, nickel, cobalt are sometimes surging and sometimes decreasing, which are expected to drive up and lower battery pack prices, impacting the overall profitability of the electric automakers. This underlines the necessity of considering multi-factors and multi-stage learning curve models that better captures the complexities of market and the material cost fluctuations, rather than simply relying on the traditional one-stage models. Okay, let's conclude our unit. I hope everyone now appreciates the importance of techno-economic analysis. Through our case study on learning curve, you should see how critical TEA is for assessing the green transitions. See you all. Bye.